Thank you so much for joining my webinar on building and automating a workflow in 20 minutes. So I know that 20 minutes seems very short, but it is completely doable in SmartSuite, which makes me enjoy the product even more. So I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Emma Montgomery, and I'm a Customer Onboarding Specialist here at SmartSuite. And I've had the great pleasure of working with so many different customers and user enthusiasts. So it's been a really fun journey here at SmartSuite, and I'm really looking forward to share some best practices that I've learned as I've worked with customers. So let me take a step back and help you understand the true benefit of a no-code platform. SmartSuite is definitely considered a no-code platform. What really is a no-code platform, and why is it important in today's world as we continue to innovate with technology? There's really a need to automate repetitive tasks that save teams hours of time a week. No-code platforms allow you to integrate with many other business systems, so you can have a centralized place where all the work is being done. They allow you to create easily configure workflows to streamline your processes. Easy to do, you don't need to hire engineers, and it is something that's doable for anyone, especially if someone who loves technology. So what we're achieving here is increased time to value, rather than waiting for the traditional development cycles of hiring, like I said, system engineers to have to maintain that system. It's completely doable by your everyday person. And lastly, it's very easy to modify. It can be adjusted for different departments, but then in the same sense, if you make adjustments to your processes, there's no hard coding. It's easy to change. You can add different fields, change your automation. It's easy to do. So in the no-code space, there are a lot of different types of softwares. SmartSuite kind of falls in the middle of all of them, which makes us really unique. So there are the task management players such as ClickUp, To-Do List, really great for task management. Then we have more of a project management focused software such as Asana and Monday or Notion. And then we have relational database focused software like Airtable or Smartsheet or QuickBase. Those are just a few examples. There are many more out there, but just want to give you the idea of the different landscape there. Now, SmartSuite is encompassing all of these different functionalities in one platform. So you will be able to have those relational database capabilities, but at the same time with those project management features, and even at a task level, you can manage projects. So a little bit more detailed about why SmartSuite is different. You're planning, tracking, and managing workflows, whether it's a project, process, or even routine tasks. So you're actually able to run your business on the platform rather than it being a simple task manager or on the other end, a relational database that can get very messy and hard to manage on a day-to-day basis. Now, some very unique things that SmartSuite offers is flexibility and customization. We want your workflows to not be adjusted. The technology should not be limited. You should be able to customize your workflows around that. And the importance of connecting your workflows. So in many relational database systems, you have your database, however, you're unable to create relationships between those workflows. So SmartSuite definitely jumps that hurdle in allowing you to create connected workflows. Another unique thing, and there are many unique things, but these are some things that stand out to me, data validation. So you can't find this in other softwares, which is crazy to me, but I was very excited to know, and many people are, that our data is in fact validated through full name fields, through address fields, we have signature fields, all of those really unique fields that you can't really find anywhere else. Our company is very focused on security. So the founders were previously in the GRC space. So security is of their utmost importance as they develop SmartSuite. So that's why our focus on granular permissions is unique to the industry and something that really sets us apart. A couple more items, 15 languages, international. We have many international customers, which is really exciting and unique. And then, of course, we listen to our customers with our feature sets. All the features that we deliver are based off what our customers have been asking for. And then I absolutely love using SmartSuite. Its interface is absolutely incredible. So quick agenda today, I will go through a basic SmartSuite capability and how to get started using them. Let's say you just create your workspace, you're not sure where to get started. I'm here to help you jump that hurdle. I will do this through a live build demo. and I will be connecting a CRM and a project management workflow. And then I will show you how to begin automating that workflow. Very simple, nothing intimidating, but I just want to get the wheels turning as far as automation. Lastly, I will give you some tips for onboarding your team, tips and tricks that I've learned from onboarding many customers and making it just most efficient and easy. And I will also provide you some resources for best practices to continue this journey with SmartSuite and help you find self-guided learning. Our support team, of course, is always here to help you, but it's nice to know that we have a lot of resources available. Now let's just go right in. So when you sign into SmartSuite, you see this great display. This is your homepage, and here you have a variety of resources that you can click into, your guides, demos, anything like that. These items here are called solutions, and they are to manage a project, process, or workflow in your business. So whether this be a CRM, project management, any aspect of your business can be run on SmartSuite. So I will just dive into a solution to help you understand what this exactly is. To take a step back, where did this solution come from? Now, when you download when you create your workspace, it will ask you some areas of interest. Those templates are auto-downloaded to your workspace. Now, they came from the template gallery. So the template gallery is something that allows you to search through 200 plus industry best-in-class templates that will help you see how your use case looks with demo data. So I typed in project management, and you can see that there's many different project management templates. I just use this template here. And then I typed in a CRM, and those are the two that I'm using today. So they're a really great starting point, but they are by all means not limited to what you can do. So when I click into this, I made some changes, but you likely won't. Some of the data is not relevant to you. It's just a way of seeing what it could look like in SmartSuite. So therefore, if you sign on here and you say, okay, this field here, which we call these items fields here, doesn't really make sense for me to have. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. I see that there's an address, definitely need that, some files as well, but looks like we're limited on some different fields that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and add a Smart Doc field. So full rich text capability in our Smart Doc field here. I'm going to add that to make sure I can store detailed information about this account. Now I can go here and add as many fields as I want that I feel aren't here yet. Maybe I need a link. I already have the website though. Maybe I want to add some sort of signature on the account. Anything here is up for grabs. So it's really what you want. But again, I just want you to understand that, yes, this is a template, but it's fully your own. So you can click into here and you can delete ones that don't make sense to you. Maybe you don't have any financial services companies. You can get rid of that. You can actually retitle these as well. So maybe you call them something else. Maybe you call them sector. You can change that as well. You can change the title. You can change the colors and the icons and everything like that. So let me describe to you what this is in SmartSuite. So we have our solution here, which allows you to manage the project process or workflow. And then these items here are called apps, which are additional information about that project or workflow that make up those workflows. So in your CRM, you can imagine you have your leads, your accounts, and maybe your contacts. And you can change these names. Maybe you call your leads something else. Maybe your accounts or your clients. This is just a way of demonstrating it for today. So here we have our apps, and then these items here are called records, which are components of data that make up your leads. This is your title field here. These represent the leads, and these are fields or information that classify, attribute that lead. So let's go into just one here. I'll do a close lead. So here we have the lead, and as you can see, there's a really nice record view with collapsible sections. I actually didn't create it. The demo data has really great sections already provided that you can actually just change. So when I'm building my own workflow, I can go in here and retitle the section. I can move things around as well. I can delete things I don't want again. I can add more, and I can add as much information as I need to. I can attach the text files. So another thing that I would recommend is, say you have your structure built out, you're very comfortable with the fields that you have, and you think that you have a good framework. can actually go and delete the demo data, which will allow you to see nothing but the structure that you've laid out. It can be a little bit easier instead of having to go through information that isn't relevant to your business. So you can just delete the demo data. The structure will be the same. If you open the record, the layout will all be the same that you set up. So you're all good to go. So I did a little bit of that earlier. I made this my own data, and now I'm going to show you how you can build and start to automate this workflow. In a traditional CRM, you have your leads here. And right now I have this new lead here, Storm Capital. Looks like I am the lead. And here's some information about the lead here. Now, how are your leads coming in? I'm sure many of you have different systems that your leads come into. With SmartSuite, you can actually use an intake form, which I created here, to bring my leads in. So anytime anyone has this external link, it can be in my website, it can be just a link that you send to your contacts or people that communicate with in an email, but I just created this form here. So these are different ways of looking at your data, and you can create forms based on the types of information and fields that you have. Now, I'll select the form that I've created, and here to the right, you can see the fields that you've added in that grid view already. And I've added a few already. So titled this my intake form. I've added the contact name, the company, the email, the phone number, and some information. I can add as many as I want, but something that you have to grasp your head around is, yes, the data is internal. So some of this data is internal, but you're able to manipulate which data is going to be externally shown and which data can externally be brought in to then work in your internal workflow. So yes, this information is only what the lead needs to see. When you bring it in, the internal workflow will begin. So I can go ahead and show you what this would look like. Go to a new tab here. I'm going to enter a lead. I'll enter myself. I'll do SmartSuite. And then I can do some notes here. Once you submit that intake form, that would likely be on my website or through an email, you can see that this new lead came in here. When this lead comes in, it can be assigned to an account owner. So maybe there's a specific type of company that a specific owner specializes in. So that could be an automation. If it's a specific education industry, maybe we want someone like Jeff on it. Maybe if it's something that's a little bit higher level, we want someone on management like Rick on it. We have company here. All this data is from the form that I put in. So you can see the lead, all the contact information is stored, and everything like that. Now we do our due diligence. We talk to the lead and we close the deal. Let's move it to closed. Automation is when the status changes from or to closed, and it's going to create an account in here. And as you can see, it will create, so it did in fact fire. We have the account name here. We have account manager, sector, anything like that. Now I will go ahead and show you really quickly, just so you can see what would happen. So yes, the lead changed from not equal to closed or equal to closed, or just matches a condition closed. But what the whole idea here is you're not duplicating information. So once that lead is created and closed, all the account information that you gathered and used to manage will move into that account app. Now, maybe you want a list of contacts, and that's great as well. So what's next? Now that you have your CRM, now that you have your contacts all set up in your accounts, you'll likely be working on projects for your accounts. Now, how are these projects being organized and how are they being brought in? So there are a lot of times where you'll just create a new project for a new record. So similar to how we had set up here, I'm going to drag and drop. So maybe milestones don't make sense for me. In this case, I want to keep it really simple. This is the project management template. Maybe I don't really need my team meetings in here. I organize that and integrate in different software. I want to keep it simple. I want my project tasks, maybe deliverables there. So as far as projects coming in, I can actually just add a project. There's a one-off project or something that I don't need to request for, or maybe I'm someone that's actually working on this project. You would just create a new one and you can assign all the information that makes sense to. Now, if you go into the form I created, so maybe this project actually has an approval process and you need to request the project before. So this is another way of creating a workflow automatically just through an entry of a form. So we could have a project name, who it's requested by, what are the goals, description, some documents, and then you can link it to an account. So once this form is submitted, it will go back into the database. I just added this record today, but we'll just pretend that this project was requested. And based on that entry of a project, maybe there's a specific project type that kickstarts this workflow. So maybe we have different types of projects in our organization. I will add a single select field. So single select fields are really good for classifying information and categorizing and reporting. They look really good on dashboards as well. So I will just go ahead and say project type. I'll do design. I'll do website, and I'll do product launch. Now that we have those, this is a specific way of classifying the project. Let's say that this design project is requested. So we know that the type is design, we know who it's requested by. Now we need to get this project approved. So once this project is requested, I set up an automation where when this form is submitted, or maybe when the record is created, it will send a notification to the person who's responsible for approving the projects. Now they are responsible for approving it. They can change the stage to approved. Now, once it's approved, based on the project type, it can automatically be assigned to a specific person. So let's say anytime the project type is a design type, it needs to be assigned to myself because I'm the designer. It will automatically be assigned, and we can default populate tasks based on the design project. So I will run through this for those of you who are interested, but the automation you would set up is when a record is updated, or you can even do when a record is created. There's a few ways to do it, where the project type is design. So whenever a project is, and we'll also want to say that the project has been approved. So we can do matches a condition or record is created, where the project type equals design and the status is approved. So here we're saying the project has to be a design project and the status has to be approved in order for this automation to fire. Now, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to create tasks for this project. Because it's a design project, we know that there are specific 3 tasks that happen for every design project. So this trigger here is happening in the projects app, but I'm trying to create new records in the task app. So I'll go here and I will select the task app. And here I will be able to just create. So I'll want to select the title and I can call this design task 1. And by default, I can actually also have an owner of the task. And of course, we'll want to link it to the project like I have here, project name. These tasks will be auto-created. They'll be linked back to the project, which I'll show you what that means in a second. And they can automatically be assigned to an owner, a project manager, or a task manager as well. So maybe there's a due date. Upon that creation of the project, these tasks are due at these set times. Maybe there are subtasks that are checklist items from this project or from within the task. There are checklists or subtasks that each have respective assignees and due dates. That can all be automated. So just to touch on how we saw here, yes, it's process management, but I also demonstrated project management. And then here we can see some task management capabilities here. So it goes all the way down to task level. Now, let me show you how we can connect our workflows. So we have a field called the linked record. And what makes this record unique for us is the ability to connect across workflows. So I already created it here, but I'll show you again what I mean by this. So the linked record allows you to see data from other workflows in your solution and pull in data from there and relate it. In this project app, I want to be able to see which accounts correspond to which project. I've created a linked record. I found the CRM solution. Any solution is in there. You can create a linkage across any solution, add the field there, and I can retitle it to be accounts like I did here. And then here we go. They're linked. I can add the linkage between the accounts. This can be automated based on the creation of the project, maybe even from the CRM directly to the project creation. There's many ways that you can automatically have it linked. But the important thing is if you click into here, you can see not only is all the account information here, but it's linked to projects. So you'll likely want to move this around and have it very visible so you can see what accounts are working on which projects. Same thing goes for tasks and projects. We need to know which tasks correspond to which project. So I've created a linked record here that shows me which tasks correspond to the project. And maybe I want to make this a little bit more appealing here. So now I can see that I'm grouping by projects and I have all the tasks here. I'm happy to dig into a little bit more about how to use things, but that concludes my building. And now I just want to touch on a few things that are important when you're bringing on your team to SmartSuite. When you're inviting new members, it's likely that you'll have someone who set up your account initially. They're the admin, they're the owner, but then they've developed something that they feel comfortable with and they want to add their teams on. There may be different levels of permissioning. Like I said, we offer really granular permissions, but there's a really easy way to set up permissions and make it easy so you're not having to assign individuals permissions upon the acceptance of their invite. If you go into workspace administration here, you can actually create teams. If I go into manage teams, I've added a select number of teams, but to do this, I just selected add team. I can title the team and I can assign the people who I want to be in the team. Now, maybe you already invited them and you need to create that team that way. However, you can actually do it directly from the invite. So let's say I'm inviting Nate, and I would recommend general access, by the way, unless you want them to be able to create new workflows or solutions. General access is good, and unless they're not on management, you don't need them to see all solutions and manage all members. General access is a great starting point. It allows you to select exactly what access you want to grant them to in each solution. Here, I have a marketing team. Now, what's important about this is the permissions that the marketing team has will be applied to Nate. So I don't have to do anything about adjusting permissions. If the permissions are set for marketing, they will be set for Nate. So once I send that invite, he'll be a part of the team and he will get those permissions. Go into marketing, there's a few people here. Now, what would that look like? Let's say we have our marketing project management solution. And in order to manage the permissioning in each solution, once you create those teams, you would go to the solution dropdown, go to permissions, and you can go into only these teams have full access. So it looks like I assigned the marketing team to have full access. Now, anyone who's added to the marketing team upon invite or upon moving over teams, they will have this level of permission. So as you can see, you eliminated yourself a lot of hassle on having to adjust permissions when they come in. So permissions are at a solution level, like I said here. Maybe it's important that some people on your team don't see your leads or opportunities, let's say. So you can actually create permissions on apps. Maybe you want to override the overall solution permissions. Maybe there's people in management that need to see some of the solution, but they don't quite need full access to the solution. You can override the solution permissions and say, only these members have full access. So only executives or only management has full access of this particular app here. And the options are also, there's many. Maybe you want them to be able to create and edit their own content, but only view other content. Maybe you want them to only see things they're assigned to. This is a very common one, really great for people who are just wanting to sign on. You only see what you need to. They don't see anything else. And maybe you want them to only comment or view. So lots of options there. But let's take it one step further. Maybe we don't want some people to see the estimated value of the lead, or at least not quite yet. can edit field permissions will allow you to go into here. And you can first off determine who can even see this field. So maybe nobody except admins or solution managers. Maybe they can see it. So maybe this team can see it. The marketing team, I'll go back. Maybe they can see it, but you don't want them to be able to edit it. So nobody can edit this field. So this creates a way of centralizing or locking down the field based on viewing and editing. So that field can be showing, you can hide it completely, or you can permit who can edit it and who can't. So those are just a few insights. And before I open the floor to questions, I just want to let you know the best practices and some resources for self-guidance. Definitely join our community. If you have a use case in mind and you're wanting to get some feedback or suggestions because you want to create a successful implementation from the start, rather than having to go back and restructure it later, if you go into our community here, you can actually just go into general questions and add a question. You can say, I'm looking to build a design management workflow. Here is what I'm looking to achieve. Here's the types of data that I want to manage. And our partners or our team will actually respond to you and give you some good feedback. We also have show and tell, which will help you see other people in action. Let's go back to SmartSuite here. How-to videos are a really good way to learn from the experts how to start using SmartSuite, how to get your head around what a relational database is, as well as project management and task management software, how you can use that in SmartSuite to your advantage. Now we have the Academy as well. So these are free courses that allow you to learn more about SmartSuite from no-code experts. Not intimidating at all because they are very succinct videos that you can watch in your own time. You can pick and choose which ones you watch. And if you're interested, you can actually get certified on the product too, to demonstrate your mastery of knowledge. Really great for onboarding teams in SmartSuite. You may require them to get certified to make sure that they know how to use your systems properly. You can always contact support here. We're available to you, but my recommendation is to join office hours. So these are live sessions hosted by onboarding specialists like myself, and we'd be very happy to answer your questions live. Maybe you're not sure how to get started on your workflow. Join in, and likely in a few minutes, you'll feel a lot less of a burden on your plate. And we tend to have really successful customers come back and they'll share what they built. These are daily at 9 a.m. PT, so please feel free to join in. So now with that, I will go ahead and open the floor to questions. We're getting a question about my work, which is, I'm so glad you brought that up. My work is function that allows you to roll up all of your tasks. When we work in a system like this, we have many different workflows. And in my work here, when we select it, we're able to see all of the different assignments that you are assigned to through an assigned to field or a checklist by solution. So I have a lot of different workflows here, but if you go into a project management solution here, you can click into it and start working right away. Now, this is also nice because you can group by the status. So you can see, I have a lot of statuses here, but you can see normally someone would not have this many, but you can have what's today. By due date is important as well. So have 100 overdue. That's definitely not good. I have one upcoming. You can see the due date here and the solution. That maybe there's a one-off task that you want to just add in. Doesn't really need to be in your system, but it's something that you need to do today. You can just enter it here and assign yourself and it will show up here. You can also have a historical record of all closed assignments. So maybe something comes up again and it wasn't quite finished. You can always open it and come back to it. Great question, Amanda. You're asking about the difference between full access and solution manager. So if you go into a solution here, full access is a little bit different. Think of the solution manager as having admin access to the solution. So they're able to manage permissions, manage automations, a lot of the different capabilities that a full access user wouldn't. So let's go back into permissions here. They do have full access to the solution, but it's more like admin roles. There's a few different capabilities as far as creating automations, editing permissions, creating new data. that you won't have as a full access member? Yes, Sarah, thank you for asking that. Let me jump into a little bit of collaboration here. So we have our collaboration, of course, through automations. You can create notifications and emails to your team members or anyone in fact. So we have a communication center here. So previously it was, you can leave comments directly where your work is, and you can assign members here. So you can assign that person a task. We now have an email component of it. So this is an alpha. You can turn it on through settings, but we are continuing to expand this feature on a day-to-day basis. So we can create a new email here. And what this does is, right now it's coming from your SmartSuite email-inbox. Soon you will be able to actually have your domain. So your exact email, whether it's Gmail, Outlook, you'll have your domain here. And then you can send an email out to whoever you need to. The subject, you can pull in fields from it. So maybe the subject is the project name is ready for review. This is also good for emailing clients for their approvals as well, because you can create some templates that are by default populated with the prospective fields. And you can just click on the template and then send that out. Of course, you can customize each email if you need to. And you can also attach files. So when you send that email, it will automatically populate in here. And then anytime someone responds to the email, it will also come in here as well. So any communication that is outputted from here will come back in here when it's responded to that email. And like I said, soon you'll be able to connect your actual domain. So you'll see it both in your inbox, in your regular inbox, as well as the record, in the SmartSuite record. We're getting a question about the easiest way for managers to see all tasks and due dates for assigned members. I would recommend using a view. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. Let's go into our task here, and looks like they're all assigned to Nate. So I'm going to go ahead and change this around. I'll assign Avi to some. I'll assign Brian, and I will assign myself to one. Okay, perfect. So here we have a list of tasks grouped by project. However, I want to create some views so I can understand who is working on what. So what I like to do is duplicate views, because you can play around with what you already have set up without having to add all the different fields again. So I'm going to duplicate the views, and I'm going to make this task by owner. And I'm going to create a grouping by the owner. So here I can see all the different tasks that Avi's working on, that Brian's working on, that Emma's working on. You can sort by due date if necessary, which you would do here. So sort by due date, like you were mentioning. And then maybe you want to create some views that are specific to that person or that current user. So right now this is a private view because I just created, but you'll definitely probably want to make this a public view. Admins can see all of the other members' private views, by the way. So anything they create, they can do, they can see. Now let's create the current user view, which is one of my favorite ones. So if we go ahead and filter where the project owner is exactly the current user. So whoever signed on to this account will only see the tasks that they're assigned to. So I'll just call this the current user view. Doesn't mean that you can create views for each person. You would just create the filter where the project owner is exactly Emma, and this would be called Emma's tasks. So the permission features are available. Permissions are available on the team plan. If you're looking for app level or field level permissions, those are offered on professional and enterprise plans. To answer your question about my work, this is a great question, by the way. In order for it to show up in my work, you have to have an assigned to field linked to a status. So by default, when you create a template, those will be linked. Let's say you create a new assigned to field. That is the task reviewer. Add it. And then maybe we have a approval status. I'll go ahead and add the approval status. approval status. Okay. So now that I created those two fields, I have to make sure that there's a relationship there for the my work to trigger. So you do this by going into the assign to field, double click on the heading, or go through the 3-dot menu, modify field settings. Now here you see a little section that says display in my work. If enabled, these items will display in my work. So what I need to do is just connect the status field that I just added. So this is the approval status. And once you do that and you assign someone, it will show up in their my work with the corresponding approval status. It looks like we're getting some questions about email templates from the communication center. So these are actually templates that you create. So let's go in here and see. Toggle the email on. Yeah, so you go into the settings and toggle that if you want to participate in the alpha. Go into emails. So as far as the templates, these are templates that you can create. So in order to save the template, you would actually just create it first. Maybe I want this to be a template. Please approve. I'll actually want the owner of the task or who it's going to. Maybe Emma. Let's do the person who's actually the owner of the task. So the name, please approve this task. And you can add any field, or we'll actually put the actual task, which would be good. Task. And once you create this, you can add this as a template. So save as a template is how you can create a new template here. But if you create something that you like, you can go ahead and send this as a template. Task approval. You save it, it will be a template for you here. You can always create new templates here. But then when you go to, oh, looks like I have to delete this. Okay. Now, once you go to, so let's say I want to start again and I created that template, go in here and the template will be available, those two that I created. You can, of course, manage them and edit them at any time. Let's say that you select the template, but you need to make some customizations. You can always do that as well. Thanks for all your questions. These are really good ones. Why don't we show some dashboards? So once you have your workflow set up, you can actually create some dashboards here. So dashboards are ways of looking at your data in a very visual way. So charts, we have a bunch of different ones that, and actually I think one that I want to show today is our data schema. So I'll show you quite a bit of them. Dashboards are just a view. So I've added a new view here. And I have a few already, but in order to add different widgets, we call them. So these are different items that make up your dashboard, whether it's charts or grid view. So let's explore ones that we have here. So we have some metrics, lots of different charts. Maybe you want a direct Zoom link for a team weekly meeting. Design, we have a lot of Google widgets, text box, web page, all that. Now I'm going to show you one of the newer widgets called the data schema. So here I can select, and basically this is like a web to show you the relationship between your workflow. So the linked records are what is connected here. I have all my solutions here, but I want to go into my project management one that I just downloaded and created. So as you can see here that the project is linked to the team, the deliverables are linked to the tasks, and the project, of course, the deliverables is linked to the project. So you can see the relationship here. Maybe you want to see all of the fields, but this can exist in, you can add in other solutions as well. So maybe I want to add a link to another solution. Maybe I want to go into my CRM again and see what that would look like. I can add links to the other solution. You can see that my accounts are linked to my projects. This is a great way to visualize your setup there. Now, let's add another embed. So we have, there's a lot of different ones, but let's say maybe I want to create a chart. So I'll go to a column chart. Here it's similar to Excel. You indicate what data you want to pull from. So here we can see the open tasks left. So there's 8. Maybe we want to group by project type. I only have one project type. So we can group by open tasks by stage value here. So you can see you have 4 open tasks in the in-process phase. We have 3 in the analysis phase. So play around with these values. It's nice to see the different ways of visualizing your data and rolling it up. Maybe there's a benchmark you want to create or a total. Once you add this widget, you can customize the view of it in your dashboard. So maybe you want to pull it up here, make it smaller. And then you can, of course, embed a grid view, which is a really nice new feature that we've added recently. So maybe there's some top 3 projects or top 3 accounts that you're working on and you want to see on your dashboard. You can do that there. What is a user? Great question. So a user is anyone who is interactive in SmartSuite in some way. A user is someone that is on your account that you add. So let me show you. There are different user levels or roles. So in your workspace administration, you can see a user is basically anyone who is added to your account. So when you invite a new member, this is basically a user. A new member is a user. And the roles that we offer are account administrator, solution creator. They can create new workflows. Account administrator can see it all. They're basically in charge of the system. General access is when you want to grant specific users or members specific workflow accesses. And then guest is really the only one that's not fully interactive, but only when you want to see things that are assigned to them. And it's free and it's a read-only state. They can leave comments in the chat and they will soon be able to change the status of a record. The other ones are full users, and those are seats on your plan. There is a way to see all tasks across different projects. So if you want to see by employee or a list by each person in all workspaces. So as far as all workspaces, we're looking at changing my work to be an admin to be able to see all of people's assignments. My work is centralized to your tasks, so it keeps it very concise and you're not overwhelmed by everyone else's tasks, which you already see in the grid view. The tasks that are assigned by owner or projects. So maybe I want to group by the project manager. I can see which projects correspond. As far as seeing a solution across all workspaces, there is a way to do that. And what you would do is create, I'm happy to take this offline, but let me just describe to you how you can do that. Basically, you would create a solution and you create an automation in each solution. When a record is created, you want to create a new record in that all projects solution, and you would pull over the name of the project and maybe who it's assigned to. Then you'll want one more automation, maybe when it's updated, but anytime that project is created, you can create a new project in that all project solution, and it will allow you to see all the projects that are created across the workspace and who they're assigned to. So for chatting with your team, it's really important to chat where the work is. If I'm discussing the design project and I'm the manager, but I'm unsure of this project's goals, I can go into the communication center and make a comment here. So I can ask Nate, can you elaborate on the goals, please? And I can assign that to him as a task. So this is a really good way of connecting with your team, because when you send that notification, they will get an email. It will show up in their notification center that it's been assigned to them. So people will be held accountable, and it's a really great way to collaborate with your team. When users open individual records, how do you modify the layout? So there are certain fields, like you said, that are limited on the layout here. So project description, since this is a text field, you can expand it and collapse it, but it is going to take the full width. Something to do note, you can actually edit the page display. So maybe you only want it to be one column, or maybe you want it to be the 70-30 layout. There is ways to customize that. Let me just go back to the 2 column. You can, of course, drag and drop. Great question here. When a record is sent from one app to another by changing a status, is it possible to automatically delete the original record? Well, you can't delete records. In fact, sometimes it's important to not delete data. The views allow you to really pinpoint and archive records. So let's say that when a project is complete, I don't want them to show anymore. So maybe when this project is complete, it gets moved somewhere else, and I don't necessarily need them in my database anymore. So I can go ahead and just create a view, of course, filter out. So where the project status is not complete. So this is basically the record will not show up in this view at all. And then you may want to create some sort of view where it shows the filter where the status is complete. So this is like your archive of completed projects, but you're not looking at those projects every day because they're completed, but you still have that data if you need to. So in terms of solutions and apps, what is the best practice to create them? We can create a lot of solutions with less apps, or do we create a lot of solutions with more apps? What is the guideline to create solution apps? This is actually probably the most frequently asked question. Like I said before, the purpose of a solution is to manage one project, process, or workflow in your business. So our projects consist of different information types, and this is one aspect or workflow in your business. Now, if you go into project management, these are the additional information that makes up your project. So let me give you a good example of when something should or may not belong in your project management workflow. Since we have the ability to link across solutions, it may not be important for you to see your contacts and your accounts in your project management solution. There is a relationship with that data, but you don't use it on a day-to-day basis. It's not a part of that workflow that you're using every day, but it is important to create that relationship. So that's the beauty of SmartSuite in the sense that the data can still be connected, but you're not staring at all of the data at once. So sometimes when I go into Airtable accounts, there's so many tables that it's a little bit cluttered. So we've really solved that problem by linking across solutions. So I can go into create a linked relationship. That app does not exist. It's there. Now, when it comes to organizing fields in apps, let's think of it in the sense that this is a sheet in Excel, and the information that belongs in the project, all the fields are the same in each app. So when you're trying to determine, do these projects belong in this app? Keep in mind, these fields, the project type, the project manager, and all of these are going to be the same for the projects. So if you're finding yourself adding a bunch of different fields to compensate for the different types of projects, or you feel that it's getting a little bit cluttered, you may want to think about breaking that out, because if you're trying to manage different information for different projects, for different clients, you may need to separate them in some sense. So that could mean that you have design projects. This could be your design management. And these are your design projects because maybe there are specific fields that pertain to only design projects. And you want to create an internal project management solution, but you design your design management is such a unique workflow that it needs to be its own solution. You can do that. So please ask any follow-up questions. I know that's a difficult concept to grasp, but just note that since you can link across solutions, you really only need what you work on a day-to-day basis in this solution, since you can create those relationships between different solutions. Receiving a question about daily work report for a project. Can we add them multiple times to that project in the record? Maybe you have your work reports so you have your projects here. We'll change this back to project management. Change this back to projects. So maybe you have your projects here, but then I'll create a new app that shows your daily workflows or your daily reports. So you can create an automation when this project is complete, or maybe when the due date is today, or the project, or both. Maybe the project needs to be completed and that reporting cycle is over. You can have it create a new record and move over the fields. Now, as far as automating the percent complete here, or the progress, you can do that through a formula. Happy to have Brian maybe can send over the formula in the chat. I'm just going to show you a quick way through an automation. So maybe it's based on a status change. So let's say that when the status goes to approved, it becomes 10%. So maybe through the different stages, and this may make more sense in the CRM because we have different leads and the likelihood of closing. So maybe when we go into discovery, it changes. Then of course, when we close the deal, the percentage here goes to 100. So I'll go ahead and create automation here. When a record is updated, and the status would just be changes, I think it's stage is equal to, I'll do changes from not equal to, in case you make that change back and forth, not equal to discovery to equal to discovery. We're wanting to update a record. So by updating the record, we mean the percentage field. So we'll go into fields here and we'll want the likelihood to close to be equal to 10%, I believe is what we said, 10. So add this automation and I'll show you what it looks like. So new, we're going to change this to discovery, and we're going to see that the likelihood to close will change to 10% right here. Okay, so I think this concludes our webinar. So we have a webinar on a successful implementation. So starting with no code, how do you achieve a successful implementation start to finish? Whether it's understanding why SmartSuite, why now, how to get your team onboarded and your team on board for using a no-code product, and then understanding your use case and what it would look like in SmartSuite. To the point of implementation, we have a partner program that allows partners to work closely with you to fast track the building process. Very happy to help you through support or anything. We just want your teams to succeed. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next time.